Assalamu alaikum. I have a small request. All those people who are sitting on the back row, do you mind filling up the front rows? Because as a storyteller, it's difficult to speak when I see emptiness. So can we all huddle up and come in front? Come on, I don't bite and I'll not ask you any questions. Come on, let's fill up all the seats in front. I'll be grateful. Thank you so much. Come on, everybody come in front. I know this is the school habit. Always sit on the last bench. There are two places for the chairman here, future chairman of the companies. Please fill up these two seats. Thank you for staying back. My friends call me a storyteller, but I actually consider myself a memory collector. I use memories to tell stories to make things happen in business. Last night, I was sad, I was a bit upset, because today is my son's birthday. My son, Kushal, is 10 years old, and I've missed 5 of his birthdays. So, bahut bura laga. And I was sitting in Nadia last night with Hamza and Asfar, listening to songs. And you know what songs are? Songs can express emotions which we can't. So I became emotional. And when it became 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. or whatever you say it, I declared that aaj mera bacha ka birthday hai. And we all decided to celebrate. And we cut a cake at 1:30 this morning. And when I went to Nadia, I only had 2 friends, which is Asfar and Hamza. Where's Asfar? Can somebody bring Asfar in? He's sitting on the left-hand side here. Khurram, ask Asfar to come in. All right, but when I left, I had everybody in Nadia celebrating my son's birthday. So I say, there are no strangers in the world, only friends we haven't met. And the shortest distance between 2 people is a story. And just before I went to sleep, I posted on Facebook, and I'll read exactly what I wrote. And I said, the apple of our eyes and the joy of our lives, Kushal turns 10 today. Son, I'm sorry for not being able to be with you today, but I want you to know that from a distance, we celebrated your birthday at 1:30 this morning with friends in Karachi, where I am speaking on an assignment. I'm dedicating my talk to you today. Bless you, my boy. Missing you, my son, and my wife. So in 1998, I was the head of marketing services at Lever Brothers in Malaysia. And as head of marketing services, I was responsible for media, market research, and public relations and brand PR. And every year in Unilever, we used to conduct a study on beauty trends, because the insights on beauty changes from time to time. And the insights inspire us to write the appropriate advertising briefs to inspire our agency. On this particular occasion, we are doing a focus group, and there were 10 women. And I remember asking them, which part of your body makes you look beautiful? And most of them said that hair makes them look beautiful. And the second question I asked was, what is that moment that makes you feel beautiful? And he said, it's a moment when the kids touch the hair and it says, Ami, they tussle the hair. And that's a feeling of how beautiful they feel. But obviously, they must feel most beautiful when they share the intimate moment with their spouse, and who again tussles her hair. But coincidentally, all the 10 women were wearing hijab. They were wearing scarf. And then I went on to ask, are you happy with the shampoos that we have in the market? And they said, not really. Because they cover their hair, they tend to sweat. And because you sweat, you tend to have an itchy scalp. And it also has some malodor. Do you have any favorite shampoos? He said, not really, because the advertisements that we see do not talk to us, but we actually buy the popular shampoos. And as a marketer who live in Malaysia, where 60% of the population is Muslims, and half of them cover their hair, why did not we see that opportunity? So next morning, I went to the office, and I started speaking to the brand managers, and I told them what I saw, what I felt, and what I heard. And as the day went by, the message reached Zitian Po, who was the marketing director. He asked me a few more questions. And the message also reached the chairman. And within 48 hours, a decision was made in the company to launch for the first time in the world shampoo targeting Muslim women, or women who cover their hair. And of course, it was an instant success. It became the #1 brand in 1 year's time. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because in a normal environment, this is what you'll do. You'll actually write a market research report. And उसमें 1-2 महीना चला जाएगा वो रिपोर्ट लिखने में. Then आप वो रिपोर्ट सर्कुलेट करेंगे. और उसमें कोई बोलेगा कि आप इसका एक बिजनेस केस बनाओ. Make a business case out of it. So you make a business case. And there'll be enough people in the company to challenge the business case. और उसमें 6 महीना चला जाता है. 6 months would pass. And what will happen in 6 months' time? The person who wrote the business case will lose its passion. इका छोड़ो. And a competitor would have probably taken the advantage. But what happened was, I told a story. And I didn't realize that I was storytelling way back in 1998. And what happened when I told a story? I engaged people. I managed to engage a lot of people in the company. I also managed to influence people. And more importantly, I could inspire people to act. That's the power of storytelling. A storytelling can help you engage, can help you influence, and can help you inspire. Can I share with you that advertisement which we made? Sorry.
Yang, abang balik hari ni.
Ya ke?
Rindulah.
Menerusi Nature Tank, pati 5 purut disari oleh Sunsilk agar kulit kepala dan rambut kekal sihat walaupun anda bertudung.
Cantiknya isteri abang.
Sunsilk 5 purut memahami keperluan rambut bertudung.
This was the fastest ever launch in the history of Unilever Malaysia because because everybody was inspired. So the product was developed very quickly. I think if you are targeting products at Muslim with green color, you cannot go very wrong. And with the product formulation, we put enough ingredients to help with the itchy scalp, and with the perfume, we could mask it. And the challenge was to actually make a connection with the consumer. And yeah, and that touch. And we were handsomely rewarded. Now the difference between emotion, and reason is that PowerPoint, Excel sheets will lead to conclusion, but emotions will inspire action, and a story has both. To put it simply, facts inform, stories sell. And I have a working definition for stories because storytelling is hard work. We are all businessmen, and my task is to put stories to work. So the working definition of stories is stories are facts, wrapped in context, delivered with emotion. We took the facts, but the way we delivered it was in context and with emotion. And I think this is the definition that I'd like you to remember for storytelling at work. Stories are facts, wrapped in context, delivered with emotion. 5 billion gigabytes. That is the amount of data that has been generated from the beginning of time in the year 2003. In 2011, that amount of data was generated in 2 days. Can you imagine how much time does it take to generate that amount of data today? I don't have the latest data, but in 2015, it took 2 minutes, and I assume today it probably will take a few seconds or 30 seconds. So we are all drowning in data, we are drowning in information, but we are starving for wisdom. We are starving for knowledge. And storytelling helps you remember and helps you make sense of the amount of information that we receive every day. So let me show you a small clip that tells you the story of storytelling.
Okay, let's resist the urge to start with Once Upon a Time. But to understand why storytelling is important to you, your company, your brands, or your corporate reputation today, we're going to have to go back a bit. The origin of the importance of stories lies in their power to explain. For ancient man, when the crops failed, he wanted to know why. The storytellers that could provide the most engaging explanations for the actions of the gods acquired the biggest and most attentive audiences and began to assume positions of authority. Thus the rise of the priest, judges and rulers, and eventually the popularity of the BBC, Google, and the world's largest repository of personal stories, Facebook. Neurological research shows that our brains, despite evolution, still look for the story to make sense of information today. In fact, in the landmark Hyder and Simmel study, people interpreted a simple animation involving 2 triangles, a circle and a square, as a torrid tale of love, promiscuity, and domestic violence. Ideas conveyed in story form, especially visual stories, versus concepts explained with logic and analysis, naturally imprint themselves into the brain faster. Stories are also universal, crossing boundaries of culture, language, gender, and age. They're told and retold, building and preserving a group's sense of community. Stories align and motivate by portraying the world in terms that build emotional connections between people and create a sense of shared purpose. In an age of ever-increasing noise, in which we send 1 billion tweets a week, read around 10 megabytes of material a day, hear 400 meg, and see 1 meg of information every second, attention is worth more than ever before. And nothing holds attention like a great story.
Stories are memorable. So let's do a pop quiz. John walked on the roof. Bill picked up the eggs. Pete put on the helmet. Jim gave a speech. Frank built a boat. Harvey flipped the electric switch. Don wrote the play. Who picked up the eggs? Come on, who picked up the eggs? Are you sure? Okay, I'll give you an easy one. Sir, may I ask you, who flipped the electric switch? Sure? Okay, then who walked on the roof? Who built the boat? Who gave the speech? Ma'am, who wrote the play? Do you want to have a play? I want to have a bet. Are you confident? I think the people who say Don, you're probably right because you tend to remember the last thing you heard. But do you remember who walked on the roof? So can we give it one more try? Santa Claus walked on the roof. Easter Bunny picked up the eggs. Viking put on the helmet. John F. Kennedy gave a speech. Noah built a boat. Edison flipped the electric switch. Shakespeare wrote the play. Who flipped the electric switch? Who picked up the egg? Who built the boat? Who wrote the play? Who gave the speech? Who walked on the roof? So how come when I did this exercise the first time round, you could not only remember, but you started guessing, and the second time round, you got it 100% right. Because the second one, absolutely, the second one had elements of a story. As human beings, we are not wired for words and numbers. You know, one of the speakers quoted about 60, 70 numbers. And do you remember any of the numbers that were quoted? 50%, 70%, 80%, 95%. You can't even remember words. How are you going to remember numbers? And what we do in the business day in, day out? Numbers. As human beings, we are not wired to remember words and numbers. As human beings, we are wired to remember images, pictures, emotions, and space. If I were to tell you where you were when 9/11 happened or when Osama was caught, chances are each one of you will remember that moment. If you are going house hunting and your spouse is not with you, you have visited that house for about a few minutes, and your spouse will ask you, "Kaisa tha wo ghar?" Chances are you'll be able to draw it, because visually you can see it. So if you can inject a bit of context, a bit of emotions, it helps people remember things. And that's the power of a story. Next, I'm going to show you a video which proves how memorable stories are. And in this video, it's a TV show called All in the Mind. And there's a UK scientist called, can I request you to please not to tape it because some of this is copyrighted, but whatever I can share publicly, I'll be happy to leave it behind. Ma'am, if you don't mind, thank you. He's talking to Andy Bell, who is the world memory champion. And he helps you how to remember things. Have a look at the video. So this is Robert Winston.
So, Andy, what mental torture have you got
The
for
audio
me this
okay?
morning?
Well, I'm going to give you this list of
Can you hear?
words, and I want you to try to remember them. These are the words: wash, apple, jet, mad, actress, marmalade, jack, van, clock, tile, polecat, tail, film, pier, bucket, chain, bottle, sand, egg, window, salamander, paper, microphone, cork, piano, dog, captain, tennis, kennel, tomato. And you're going to be able to remember it.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Well, I think you might, because I'm going to give you a technique that will help. I'm going to ask you to picture 2 words at a time in a sequence of locations around your home. So I'll give these to you.
But then I'll have 3 things to remember. The 2 words plus the location.
You already know the locations around your home, so the sense of location is going to help you. Trust me, it's not going to add to your problems.
I'll never do it.
Yes, you will. I'm going to give you at least until that egg gets cold, to have a look at that list.
So I start off in the garden, wash the apple, go into the hall, where there's a jet madly flying around, into the dining room, where there's an actress.
Who's your favourite actress?
Judi Dench. But she wouldn't be smeared in marmalade.
She would be.
Why?
So you can remember her.
For the next 5 minutes, I frantically try to imagine all these crazy images and think where to put them. The normally quite unexceptional Winston household will never feel quite the same again.
So, do you think you can remember any of the words I gave you earlier today?
Well, I'll give it a go. We'll start off outside in the garden. Wash apple. Jet mad. Actress, marmalade. Jack Van. Polecat tail.
That's
Film
it.
pair.
That's right.
Bucket chain. Clock. Tile. Bottle. Sand.
Okay, try to remember the room you were in when you thought of those words.
Salamander. Paper. Microphone cork. Piano. Dog. Captain. Tennis. Kennel. Tomato.
How many out of 30 do you think you got?
I think I probably did them all right.
All of them. Well done.
So it works.
He got all of them right. What he did was, he transferred the information into images, into locations. Do you have trouble remembering things? Yes or no? We can't even remember phone numbers. We can't even remember people's names. I struggle. And I'm probably a bit older and a bit younger than some of you. Has anybody been to Mauritius? Anybody been to Mauritius? Yeah. The founder-president of, who is the founder-president of Mauritius? Sivusagar Ramgulam. He's like the Quaid-e-Azam of Pakistan. So wherever you go, there'll be people who will remind you. And I was going to be there for 2 weeks, and I said, I got to find a way to at least remember the founding president of Mauritius. So if you've been to Mauritius, it's a country of forest. It's a country of wood. Would you agree? It's got lakes. It's also a Hindu kingdom. There are temples. And the French also brought the slaves from India to work on the sugarcane fields. So this is how I remembered them. Sea, wood. Sagar is lake. Sivu Sagar, that's his first name. Ram is the Hindu god, and Gulam is the servant. Sivu Sagar Ram Gulam. And my friends were very impressed. But I used this technique. So try it out. You know, when your wife tells you, gives you a shopping list and all that, translate it into some images and locations, and half your domestic problem would be solved. You know, I always say that you can't beat a story with a fact, only with a better story. Have you got into an argument where somebody has a fact and the other person also has a fact, and it's fact versus fact? Chances are you'll not win, because each person in a debate will find enough facts to defend his or her point of view. But if you tell a story, chances are you will win. These are the numbers of the Syrian refugee crisis. And I'll not even bother to read the numbers to you because I know you'll not remember. You could not even remember the words, so chances are you'll not remember these numbers. On 2nd September 2015, Alan Kurdi, a 3-year-old boy, and his family boarded a small plastic boat, an inflatable plastic boat, which capsized 5 minutes after it left Bodrum in Turkey. They were on their way to the island of Kos in Greece, which is about 30 minutes from Bodrum. The boat sank, 16 people died because the boat was only supposed to carry 8 people. But on the beach of Bodrum, a Turkish journalist took this photograph and published it. And this is what happened on next. Humanity washed ashore, shame, shame, shame. This photograph caused a dramatic upturn in the response of the world to the Syrian crisis. The French president called up the Turkish president. A lot of the European Union leaders met and decided to open up their borders for Syrian refugees. British Prime Minister David Cameron was also involved. And I believe maximum number of donation was collected because of this picture. The power of a story. And my favorite author, Khaled Hosseini from Afghanistan, some of you may have read his books, The Kite Flyer. He actually, The Kite Runner. Yeah, because you fly with the kite runner, mental. He wrote this beautiful book called The Sea Prayer, dedicated to Alan Kurdi. And the collection of this book goes to help the refugees in crisis. That's how a story inspires. The world today has more overweight people than malnourished people. There's one standing in front of you as well. And these are the numbers. And again, you'll forget. But here's a brand of margarine who decided to adopt a village and change the health of the village.
You can't look at somebody and ever get an idea you've got high cholesterol or not.
I was really worried about Ivor, so I took us off to get tested, and actually, I'm just as bad. So when Flora Proactive came to town with their 3-week challenge, we thought we'd give it a go.
Tomorrow afternoon is a dog walk. I haven't got a dog, but I'm not letting that stop me.
It's not like a difficult diet. You're eating Flora Proactive every day and swapping a few things.
His new name is Mr. Moderation.
I'm ready for this.
Really?
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
That is absolutely brilliant.
I'm going to cry.
If I can do this with little change, anybody can.
So this was a story that went viral. And what happened was the health of a village was changed when they changed their lifestyle. Billions of people are online. And this is the number of Google searches. It changes by the minute. And you know what is the mission of Google? Mission of Google is to organize world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. But what really Google wanted to do was to see how meaningful the search engine is in real life and how it can help people in real life. And this is what Google did.
मट्ठी और अचार
Sweated the pen.
नहीं ठीक हूँ मैं पता नहीं अब तेरे पापा क्या करेंगे रिटायर होकर।
क्यों? बॉम्बे चलोगे आप दोनों मेरे साथ, और क्या?
नहीं जाएंगे।
क्यों नहीं जाएंगे?
करीब 40 साल पहले तेरे पापा भाग के बम्बई गए थे फिल्मों में हीरो बनने के लिए।
पापा, ये मिस्टर सिनेमा हॉल मैनेजर हमारे ये हीरो बनना चाहते थे?
एक दिन इनका फोन आया, फिल्म में कोई रोल मिला था। बैंगलोर के पास शूटिंग थी। तेरे दादाजी को ये सब पसंद नहीं था ना, कान पकड़कर ले आए और तेरे पापा यहीं सेटल हो गए। ठान लिया था कि हीरो नहीं बने तो कभी बम्बई नहीं जाएंगे। सिनेमा हॉल में नौकरी कर ली, फिल्मों से जुड़े भी रहे और अलग भी।
ओके गूगल, which Hindi movie was shot near Bangalore 40 years ago? शोले? Okay Google, where was Sholay shot? रामनगरा। नमस्ते पापा।
स्वेटर तो पहनो।
जी।
मैंने कहा ना, तेरे पापा तेरे साथ बम्बई नहीं आएंगे।
हैं? बम्बई?
मम्मी बम्बई नहीं जा रहे, मैं और पापा छुट्टी पे जा रहे हैं।
छुट्टी?
हाँ।
तुम बाप बेटा जानो भाई, तुम्हारे बीच की बात है।
तू ये कहाँ पे लेके आया? ये क्या छुट्टी मनाने की जगह है? हाँ?
40 साल पहले यहीं तो आना था आपको।
हाँ?
शोले की शूटिंग यहीं हुई थी पापा, और यहीं कहीं शायद वो फेमस डायलॉग हुआ होगा ना, कितने आदमी थे। हाँ पापा, एक बार आप भी बोलो ना, वही स्टाइल में बोलो ना पापा। पापा पूरी जिंदगी दबाए रखोगे?
कितने आदमी थे?
एक बार और।
कितने आदमी थे?
कितने आदमी थे? फेमस गब्बर सीन। पापा
कितने आदमी थे?
चलो बेटा, अब चले?
अब इतनी दूर आए हैं पापा, तो 3-4 लोकेशंस और देख लेते हैं।
रस्म रिवाज लिहाज की बंद खिड़कियां खोल के
दिल चाहता है
फोन परिंदा उड़ चला आज अलग बोल के। एक धड़कन सो गई थी कच्ची नींद में, उसे थपथपा के जगा के फिर टटोल के। सपना वो सोने का, सूरज को छूने का फिर से देख ले, भर के उमंगों को फैला के
खलबली सॉन्ग रंग दे बसंती
चूम ले।
देखो
चल बाबरे खुद को ढूंढ ले, चल बाबरे।
कश्मीर की गली।
कुछ तो निभा, खुद से यारियां, चल बाबरे खुद को ढूंढ ले।
कैसी रही छुट्टी?
बढ़िया। पापा कल फिल्म देखें?
ठीक है।
हेलो अंकल।
बैठो। कैसे हो बेटा? विकी नहीं दिखाई दे रहा?
आ रहा है।
हीरो तो आप बन गए, अब तो रिटायर हो गए। हीरो कभी रिटायर नहीं होते पापा। अब तो बंबई चल लो प्लीज।
चल बाबुरे, खुद को ढूंढ ले। चल बाबुरे, खुद को ढूंढ ले।
You know, that's the power of our industry. If you create stories like this, you can help solve problems which governments also cannot solve. You can inspire people to take actions to fulfill the dream of their parents. You can inspire people to connect. Have you seen the earlier Google ad, Reunion, about India, Pakistan? You know what I did after I saw the ad? I went to old Lahore, not Delhi Darwaza. Which is that other Darwaza? Sorry? Yeah, but which Darwaza is it? It's not, Mochi Gate. I went to the Mochi Darwaza. I went to Faisal Sweets. And I asked him, वो मैंने ad दिखाई, मैं तो आपने देखी है, क्या सुना है कि मैंने ये ad बनाई है, मैंने देखी है. और लेकिन मैं बोला, ये बाहर वाले जो रिक्शा वाले सब है, उसने ये ad देखी होगी क्या नहीं? ठीक है, ये लोग तो नहीं देखते ना, ये तो YouTube के है, उसने देखी नहीं होगी. So I came on the street and I had a rickshaw wala and I showed them the ad on my phone. And trust me, he had tears in his eyes. And you know what he told me? He said, can I say it one more time? किसी और को भी मुझे दिखानी है. And the second time round, even my eyes went wet. And you know what I did? I bought a box of Jajarias, the sweets in the ad at Faisal Sweets, and I distributed it. And when I spoke to Piyush Pandey, Ogilvy, India, who created the ad, and I told them, is this ad real? He says, no, Bharat, it's a work of fiction, but it could be real. That's the power of stories, and that's the power of marketing, and that's the power of communication. I told her this morning, for me, I've been a marketer for 25 years, and people ask me, why did you stick to one profession and to one company? And to me, marketing is my religion. Because the essence of religion is to do good, to feel good, and to help people get more out of life. And that's what we do with our brands, with our products, and with our services. If you do it well, you can do good. You can help people feel good. And you can help people get more out of life. This is the world water crisis. I'll not even bother to read the numbers. And the numbers meant nothing to me. Because I come from Malaysia, and you know, Malaysia, it rains all year round. We got plenty of water. And I don't even pay my water bills. Water in my home is free, because I just use the minimum amount of water. In 2005, I went to East Africa for the very first time on work, and I've been there many times, but the first time is always special. And I stayed on over the weekend, and I went to Masai Mara to see the animals in their natural surroundings. On my way back from Naruk to go to the Nairobi airport, I was stopped by a Masai warrior. And when a warrior asks you to stop the car, you better stop the car. So I stopped the car, and the warrior asked me, the Masai warrior, he said, do you have some water? And I had a box of mineral water with me, and I gave him 2 bottles of water. In return, he gave me the spear. He said, you can have my spear. It's a handcrafted spear. I did not take the spear, but I took a photograph to remind me what value different things have in different times and in different locations. Water in Malaysia had no value to me. But the spear, I'll probably give $100 for it. It's a handcrafted spear. But to that Maasai warrior, the spear had no value. He valued water more than the spear. And that to me was a wake-up call. And ever since that, my attitude towards water has changed. And I get very upset when people waste water. And there are certain water habits that are used as a rule in my home. That when we wash the dishes, the maid has been told to switch off the water. When you brush your teeth, this thing has to be off. Don't let the water run. And no glass would ever be left with any hot water in it. And recently I saw this advertisement, and that is to actually build empathy. I think people like us who get a lot of water should feel for people who don't have water. So look at this.
एक दिन हमारे गांव में किसी ने नहाने का सावर रख दिया। हमारे आधे गांव ने पानी पी लिया और एक शहर वाले का नहाना अभी खत्म ना हुआ।
So in conclusion, I think we have spoken a lot about digitalization, but I think while we digitize, let's not forget to humanize. And never, we talk about big data, we talk about AI, but don't underestimate the power of algorithm of one. One person can make a difference. That's the power of our idea. This morning, I remembered a few things that Steve said, and being the closing speaker, I'd like to make some connections to what we were told this morning. He started off by saying that humans should not drive, but I think humans should tell stories. Machines do not have conscience, but stories have emotions. That means we have conscience. AI will not replace managers, but managers who use artificial intelligence will replace those who don't. I believe that leaders who put stories to work will be more engaging, will be more influencing, and will be more inspiring, and they'll be more successful. He said we must educate people in a creative and human way. I believe storytelling can restore humanity at the workplace. Storytelling can humanize the workplace. Marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but it's about the stories you tell. I've been coming here since 1994, and every time I go back with a very heavy heart because I become a better human being when I come here, because यहाँ मुझे इंसानियत महसूस होती है. पाकिस्तानी आपको अपना बना लेते हैं, and that's what I tell people when I go back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bharat Avalani, for sharing your stories with us and giving us such a memorable presentation. Thank you. I would like to invite Mr. Vikarul Islam to present the memento to Mr. Bharat.